Okay, sir. Curtis, we are live. Thanks so much, and take it away.
All right. Thank you very much, Logan, and welcome to everybody who has joined us here today for the Mount Allison presentation. So all of you are well on your way in your post-secondary journeys. Maybe it feels a little bit like you're walking through the forest and trying to figure it out. This is a picture of our lovely waterfowl park here in Sackville, where I certainly enjoy going for walks when I need to do a little thinking. And so I'm sure you're all doing lots of thinking, and this is a great event for you to be able to explore your post-secondary options. What I'm hoping today to be able to provide is a good introduction into our university, Mount Allison, but also maybe some insights into studying in Canada, maybe the first place that you choose to study, knowing that we are an undergraduate specific university. You know, the presentation today would really be geared towards students that are seeking their first degree after secondary school. So maybe arriving to Canada for that first undergraduate or bachelor's degree. And that's really what Mount Allison University specializes in. For all of our students that come from around the world, we have 80 nationalities represented on our campus this year. We really do attract a wide variety of students from many different places in kind of small numbers, given we're a small institution. But I think what the common experience for many students who arrive onto our campus at Mount Allison is that they feel very welcomed. It's a very friendly and welcoming place here. In general, in Atlantic Canada, where we're located, Eastern Canada is known for its hospitality, for its kind of welcoming nature, its friendly communities. And I think all of that is really exemplified on our campus, where, you know, through my travels as an international recruitment and an admissions officer, you know, I have traveled the globe. I've enjoyed those travels and experiences, but in all of my travels, I don't think I found a friendlier place in the whole world than here in Sackville, New Brunswick. To situate us on the map, in case you're curious where we are located, you know, maybe some of the larger city centers in the Eastern United States might be a bit more familiar for you geographically. You know, we can think of New York and Boston and Washington, D.C. In Canada, often individuals think of some of our central, you know, Canadian locations when they think of Canada, maybe Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal. So while we're, you know, in close proximity, for any individual who's not traveled to Canada, you'll maybe not know how large of a country it is geographically. So while it looks close here on the map, if you were to say drive from Moncton, where we're located, or very close to where we're located, you can see in the top up in Sackville, it would really take about 16 hours to drive to Toronto, and kind of almost a similar distance to drive down to New York. But where we're located is in the small province of New Brunswick, just east of the city of Moncton, in a small university town that is known as Sackville. Now, Sackville is a very walkable community. You don't need a vehicle or public transportation. Really, it's very pedestrian. Students can really walk to all of their campus buildings, you know, all of their activities, generally within a 5 to 10 minutes walk, as well as the downtown. So as a first introduction, maybe your first time away from home, your first, you know, time in a new country, in a new place, what this kind of means is it's just really easy to navigate. It's like a soft landing when you come into Canada with a warm cushion of support around you. And I think for a lot of our students, they kind of come to appreciate, you know, the less hustle bustle nature that you might experience in, say, a Toronto or a bigger city center. In a small town, you know, it's very much about your education. It's about kind of gaining those skills and confidence as a student that's going to set you up for your career, for your next, you know, degree if you plan to take a master's. And that's really kind of our intention as an institution, to gear you up for your next step while having a really amazing 4-year experience where you'll make lots of Canadian connections, lots of connections to other international students, and gain lots of skills. Some of our buildings, we have, you know, are known for our visual and performing arts at Mount Allison. If there are any students that have a creative side to themselves, this is the newest building on campus, our Fine Arts Visual Arts Center. Downtown Sackville, you know, quaint university cafes, independent shops is what you'll tend to find, as well as lots of other students. One of the things I want to focus on today is kind of the program mix at Mount Allison. And the kind of idea of a liberal education. So, you know, every university has a different maybe educational model that they follow, and Mount Allison's is maybe more Similar to, say, Eastern United States universities that you might be more familiar with, say, this term, the liberal arts. We don't necessarily love the term the liberal arts, as we, feel it as a little bit excluding of our fantastic science and business programs. But really for us, a liberal education means the ability to explore and to try things, to be able to mix and match programs across disciplines. So if you're interested in the life sciences or biology, but you also are interested in music performance, you could do both of those at Mount Allison. And we have a lot of interesting niche programs that are very kind of specific based on the expertise we have here in our campus. So, there are 50 plus programs to choose from, as well in 5, maybe 6 major degree programs, if you consider the Bachelor of Arts in Science as a new degree program. But I'm going to go over some of the newer programs that you may be less familiar with and maybe are not as common in of an option in post-secondary, to get maybe give you some ideas about what might be possible. So for one, this is a very popular program for Mount Allison. We're one of the few universities in Canada that offer an integrated aviation program, either through the Bachelor of Science or the Bachelor of Commerce degree. We partner with another local institution that's in close proximity to us, the Moncton Flight College. The MFC, they provide the flight training for our students. At Mount Allison, we're going to provide the bachelor's education, so the science or the commerce. So if you're kind of interested in physics and calculus and you've taken these subjects, you might be more well-suited for a Bachelor of Science option. If you're maybe less, you enjoy math and physics less, maybe a commerce option could be a good one that would give you lots of flexibility in the event that you ever have some issue preventing you from flying. You have something to fall back on in terms of the degree and also in terms of your advancement in the industry. So this is a really popular program. You really won't find many others like it. I think we're the only Bachelor of Commerce option in aviation, and there's a really high demand for pilots in today's day and age. So it's almost a guaranteed job when you come out of this program. Biopsychology brings together a lot of programs that we have in terms of the biological sciences and the psychology options. So if you have some kind of interest in the scientific aspects of psychology, this could be a really good program to bring those all together, to set you up for counseling, set you up for research positions, sets you up for medical school. Cognitive science, in a similar vein, is very focused on the brain. So you can think maybe a term that's more familiar would be neurology. So if you want to really study the brain in depth, then the cognitive science program is really geared towards that. Again, a good prep for medical school, but lots of other potential research positions that our students are taking advantage of after they graduate. This one is maybe less common in post-secondary. And really, because Mount Allison is in such a community-based setting, we really like the idea of our students getting out into the community to be engaged, to learn, to support the different groups and the various mandates that they have. This, maybe if you're less inclined to be sitting in a classroom, listening to a lecturer, writing exams, and you're more interested in a bit of a more applied education, getting out into the field, working with different stakeholders, then the community engaged learning is a very broad program, everything from community resiliency through climate change, natural disasters, to, planning exercises where you're trying to design, communities or cities in a certain way. Any kind of big problems that we face as societies is something that could be tackled in this program. Data science, being that we're in a data-driven world, all decision makers are looking to make their decisions based on kind of empirical evidence and data. Students that have this capability to, analyze, interpret, understand how to use data is a really valued skill set in the job market today, where it's only offered as a minor or a certificate right now. It's kind of a perfect combination to any other degree program that you're studying to have that kind of speciality in data science. Maybe similarly, if you're interested in kind of visualizing that data, this is a program that really takes advantage of like digital mapping. So we can think if you're strong in software applications, you maybe have some interest in computer science, but you're interested in solving like real world problems. Geocomputing is a really good way to do this. Everything from, again, maybe climate change research to migratory birds to designing a city, it can all be layered into a digital map, and it's a very powerful tool and technology to show that data, especially for those more visual learners. Health studies, given that we're still on the tail end of a global pandemic, it's really brought to light the varying positions and individuals that come together to collaborate to kind of support humans as they go through these kind of health challenges. It's not all about medical doctors or nurses. There's so many positions in the human health services, and the health studies program is intended to be just that, a broad introduction to all of those. It's a very interdisciplinary program that is a Bachelor of Arts and Science program where you'll be studying, courses across disciplines in preparation for working in that kind of health industry, whether that's as a medical doctor or, in some other capacity. And like I said, there are many. For us here in Canada, we have a relationship with the First Nations peoples of this land that have been here for time immemorial, over 10,000 years that Indigenous individuals have populated this land. So as the Canadian colonial state that we are, it's important for individuals to understand that relationship. I think for any individuals arriving to Canada for the first time, to have this kind of cultural context and understanding of that relationship, which, and I'm sure in many countries that are, individuals attending from various countries here, maybe there's similar relationships with Indigenous populations in your countries. So it wouldn't just be localized to Canada, but certainly that would be the focus. But I think, as citizens of the world, as individuals, this is an important relationship to understand. And this program, if nothing else, taking maybe just an introductory course will help guide you and give you some perspective through the rest of your studies. Language in the mind. So if you're interested in language development, most of the individuals listening are probably multilingual, maybe don't just speak English. Maybe English is not even your native tongue. So if you already have that kind of capacity and ability, and you're strong in languages, a lot of opportunities for individuals are opened up when you can speak multiple languages. So in terms of job prospects, the ability to work in intergovernmental relations. But this program in particular kind of combines the programs we have in psychology with kind of our language programs. And it's really, again, maybe a bit more focused on kind of cognition and how language is developed. Anyone from a young child learning how to speak to individuals that have had their ability kind of impacted in some way. Museum and curatorial studies. It doesn't matter what discipline you might be interested in. There's always going to be some kind of cultural institution, a museum, an art gallery, something. And I'm certain, again, in many of the countries that, we have individuals attending from today, perhaps your country is well known for these sorts of cultural institutions, attract a lot of tourism or other individuals, historic sites. So if you want that kind of expertise to work within those sort of institutions and in that sort of industry, this could be a really fantastic program to give you that expertise, as it's something that we have on our campus and a lot of kind of experts in this area. Now, this is kind of our closest to a film program, Screen Studies and Popular Culture. If you're interested in the study of film, television, popular culture, and kind of critically analyzing, okay, how are we learning? How are we consuming media? We can think in today's day and age, we all know what this means when we're scrolling and looking through our phones. But we don't necessarily know what that is doing to us as a society, as individuals, as populations, and this kind of change in how we consume media. So if you're at all interested in that study, this could be a really interesting program to pursue as well. Visual and material culture studies. Again, I think this is the only program offered perhaps in North America, maybe even the world. It's a very new and emerging discipline, but it's kind of getting away from the Western tradition of, very text-based or word-based kind of learning into more of a visual, everything material. I can think of everything from an ancient Egyptian tomb where we're discovering artifacts and trying to determine, what insights they can provide to us about past societies and cultures, to modern day architecture and building design and how we kind of design our cities and our buildings in a way that is going to be, positive for individuals who are living and learning and working in these spaces. So if it is physical, if it's material, this is something that could be covered in this program, very broad, and it's really developing as we go. Women's and gender studies, has evolved certainly over time to include much more than just the study of kind of feminism and women's studies. And again, I think this is kind of the way of the world, the way things are moving. If you're interested at all in that diversity, equity, inclusion, you're looking to get into that kind of female empowerment, as we know how beneficial that can be to our societies when we empower and educate young girls. These would all be kind of things that, would be studied within this type of program, and I think very valuable to any individual for their own education and knowledge of the world and their kind of perspective as they interact with other individuals. But also, again, a skill that and something that the job market is looking for in today's day and age. Any politically minded students, we have this specific school of philosophy, politics, and economics, not a very common degree in Canada, but certainly more popular in the United Kingdom, the United States. You'll see a lot of high-level politicians, economists that might have this kind of base education at their bachelor's degree, a lot of individuals interested in the legal kind of sphere. So it really sets students up well for any of those kind of governmental agencies, legal opportunities. And there's a lot of funding in the program for students in terms of kind of specific departmental scholarships. We have some specialization on our campus in terms of the fine arts and visual arts, music as well. If you are an artist, you are a performer and looking to kind of hone those skills and become a professional, we have programs that would offer that. And again, a lot of funding available for students in terms of scholarships. This one here is the last program on my slide, but it's the joint major in music and computer science. Again, if you're looking to maybe be a performer, a performance musician, we have that great music program. But if you're also looking to gain insight into kind of the digital production aspect of things, sound engineering, we now have a program combined with our computer science that would allow students to move into this kind of career path and set you up with everything you need, all the softwares to make music, make podcasts, whatever it might be, is really at your fingertips and available to you. Now, as you go along your degree program, there's also the ability to take a small concentration of courses in these different areas called certificates. Certificates are just give you a little bit of distinction. Maybe you have a major in biology, a minor in data science, but you are also looking to, understand a little bit of that relationship with Indigenous individuals, and you take a Mi'kmaq Studies certificate. Maybe you're looking to have some data analytics to go along with your data science. Maybe you're interested in something in arts administration. You can kind of gain that concentration just by selecting your courses in a certain way. And this is going to help once you get into a job market to be able to highlight kind of your specific skills and strengths in certain areas. So, at Mount Allison, we try to get creative in how we educate. It's not all about in a classroom learning. This is students out in a field land-based course, doing some field study in our national park, the Bay of Fundy, that's very close to campus. So this is just something you could experience, and our faculty members are really top-notch. Mount Allison faculty rank very highly in the Canadian rankings. The relationship you develop with your faculty on a small campus is very intimate and close. They get to know you well. They provide you opportunities in terms of that research, and they're really your academic mentors guiding you. Our teachers, our faculty members really work at Mount Allison and maybe not the larger research institutions around the world because they love to teach. They want to work with students specifically. So we have a lot of strong teaching capacity on our campus. And that comes when you're in a small campus environment, in a small classroom setting. It just makes those interactions a lot more authentic and organic, as well as the ability for you to interact and meet your other peers in your subjects of interest. This all kind of happens naturally in a small campus setting. Now, a lot of our students are interested in professional programs after they graduate, and that's something Mount Allison has a strong track record for producing successful graduates into, say, medical school, law school, dentistry programs, other professional industries, by kind of giving you the skills and tools you needed in a high-quality academic environment, gaining a lot of people skills along the way that should serve you in those kind of professions. So if you are interested in preparing yourself to get into those top-ranked kind of professional programs, Mount Allison can be a really good first option to gear you towards that. And I think because we have so many options to gain experience beyond the classroom, a dedicated experiential learning office, you'll see more and more universities are dedicating resources to this sort of thing to allow students to build up their skill set, outside of kind of the more theoretical lecture-based academic experience. Get your hands dirty, get out into the field, gain internships, gain work placements as you go through your education. Now, where students maybe form their identities on our campus is how they choose to involve themselves. It's known for its campus life and the vibrant kind of array of activities that students can participate in through clubs and societies and volunteer opportunities. And there really is something for everybody and too many things for you to be able to do it all. But, if you have particular passions beyond your studies, just know that there are many opportunities to continue doing those things at university. And it's a great time in your life to explore new things and to try new things and to expand your horizons. If anybody is interested in varsity sports, these certainly are options for that. I played myself on the varsity soccer team, the football team, but we do have an American football team as well. There's lots of different sports. You can see swimming, hockey, volleyball, basketball. So if you play a sport and you're interested to compete at a high level, I'd encourage everyone to check out our website here, Mountie Pride, fill out recruit forms and to get in touch with coaches. Just know for those who are less competitive but looking to stay fit and have fun, there's tons of intramural sports available that are less competitive, and there's lots of opportunities, to gain access to the fitness centers or to jog through our lovely running trails. Staying fit is important for the body and the mind. If you are coming to Sackville from a destination outside of Canada, you're likely to live in residence. So a lot of our students, will find their first friends in residence. It's a very welcoming environment. A lot of academic supports are built into the residence environment. You can see these students here have really made their room their own. You can decorate it in as many ways as you want, but just know that the mini fridge comes with the room, so you don't certainly have to provide yourself with a fridge. But all students who, will live in residence will also have access to our dining hall, and the dining hall is really fantastic. Maybe make note of the flags up in the corner. These are all the different nationalities that are represented on our campus each year, and that will be changed every year. So it's a little touch of home for everybody that comes. And, food is something that brings people together. We all come together and break bread and gather. And in the kind of commitment to the environment, a lot of Mount Allison's food is sourced locally, which gives you some good insight into the Canadian cuisine, but we certainly have a lot of international cuisine so that you have some comforts of home as well. Now, there's a lot of benefits to being on Mount Allison's small campus, but perhaps you want to, again, expand your horizons and experience somewhere else in the world as well. And studying abroad and doing an exchange program is a really great way to do this. Just know that it's possible at Mount Allison. We have some excellent partners from across the globe that offer exchange and study abroad opportunities. And we just encourage all students to take advantage of those to, again, just continue to gain different experiences as you go through your education, build new networks. At the end of the day, Mount Allison is a very supportive place. It happens in the size and scope of institution that we are, that it's very easy for students to get the support that they need, whether it be physical, spiritual, mental, academic. So really, it's just a conversation away. There are not long lineups here. If you come to an individual like myself, I may not be the person who knows the right answers, but I can certainly put you in touch very easily with the person who does. We all really work collaboratively as staff and faculty to support students. And I think you'll find a lot of compassionate people on our campus that are, ideally motivated to help you achieve your goals. Scholarships and financial aid, they're eligible. All students that apply are eligible to be considered for scholarships. And all that you really have to do is apply and be detailed on your application about your involvements. That's the best way to be considered for scholarships. Certainly there is an academic component to that, and students must maintain kind of the equivalent of an 80% in Canada, which might equate to about a B- average in a US system. Depending on your curriculum, it could be a little bit different, but we're very familiar with assessing curriculums from across the world and doing that kind of comparison. So generally speaking, if you're kind of a B student, an 80% student, you can generally expect to qualify for some sort of scholarship. But the most important thing is that you apply, follow the deadlines, and to submit your transcripts, all transcripts. There are financial opportunities beyond scholarships. And this website here, mta.ca/money matters, really gives you a lot of that insight into how you can finance your degree with scholarships and other financial resources available to you. So for requirements, if you're interested to know how you can actually gain admission to the university, again, most of the countries are listed here at mta.ca/requirements with specific information on what you would need to do in your country to satisfy the admission requirements to Mount Allison. If your country is not available on the list that we provide, we just encourage you to get in touch with us, send us your transcripts. We can always do a quick assessment and give you some sort of indication of that. At the end of the day, it might be difficult for you to come to visit campus. Gaining a visa to just do a campus visit might not be always possible, but we do have virtual campus tour options, residence tours. So we'd encourage you to go through those. You can enjoy it from the comforts of home. If you did have that ability and you were going to be in Canada and you had the ability to physically come for a tour, we would love to host you. I think our students that do that really enjoy the experience. So Mount Allison has been around since 1839. It is older than Canada as a country by many years. We're an institution that has a long history, and we have a very strong alumni network of individuals that are here to support you, not just during your degree program, but later in your life. So I hope that helps give you some insights into Mount Allison. Any general questions could always be sent to admissions@mta.ca. And if you have any questions now, I maybe will stop my presentation or bring it down and just take a look at some of those questions that are coming through, as I know we're very close to time. Here we go. So let's see the questions, giving you some insight into the the back end of the system that I see. So here I see transfers. So if you're transferring, it's really important that you provide us all the information on all the institutions that you've attended, and also to provide all transcripts to those institutions. So we need the full academic picture. If you've had gaps in your study, it's really important that you provide us with an update through your resume or your letter of intent that would help fill in those gaps for us, so we have an understanding of what you've been doing since your last degree program. We're going to ask for that information. So if you want to prepare your application and get a response sooner, the best thing you can do is to ensure that all of your transcripts are included with your application and that you fill in those details. If you are looking to see graduate programs, we offer very few graduate programs, mostly in the kind of pure sciences and biology, physics, chemistry. If you are interested in a master in those kind of areas, the important email to email would be gradstudies@mta.ca or email admissions@mta.ca, and we'll put you in touch with the right people. In terms of so cybersecurity, you're probably looking at a computer science program. It's not going to be focused just on cybersecurity, but certainly that will be an element of it and something that you would be well positioned to go into as a career. Admissions, application fees. Typically, it's a $50 application fee for individuals that want to apply, and we require a Visa or a MasterCard for that application fee. Nursing, we don't have a nursing program here. There are lots of nursing programs in Canada, but the health studies program would give you avenues into a possible career in nursing. It just might be a bit of a longer education. And we don't offer the postgraduate certificates, scholarships like covered in the presentation, virtual tours and was covered in the presentation. ELTS, yes, you will require proof of English proficiency, and all of that's available in the requirements program. For Francophone students, there's a French studies program. We are an English school, but there are opportunities to continue your French education, and we are in a bilingual province, the only province in Canada that is officially bilingual, so there are many Francophone speakers here. And so a lot of questions about graduate studies. So I do apologize that we don't offer many graduate programs. And if you're seeking those options, you might want to look elsewhere. We would really be more focused on undergraduate programs. I think that should cover most of the questions, and I think we're just over time, perhaps, Logan. So maybe that should wrap it up and do it. But I really do appreciate everybody's time joining here today. Thank you for the claps. That always helps give me the motivation I need. And really nice to spend some time with you this morning.
Thank you so much, Curtis. I would encourage anybody with outstanding questions to come hit you at the booth. It's a good way to get in touch or ask questions directly. I'll put a link in the chat to jump to the booth in just a second, but any parting words for us before we let you go?
Yeah, I would just suggest, maybe look beyond the major city centers in the places that you're looking. And I think you'll find some really fantastic institutions that are outside of those, major metropolises that in some ways, that's what maybe our countries are known for when you think about Canada. But in terms of your first experience in Canada, coming to a smaller place can be a lot more supportive and kind of gearing you up to be successful in the long term. So perhaps, do those searches and be open to the idea of studying outside of a Toronto, a Vancouver in Canada. And then those graduate programs that you're looking for, that's a perfect time in your life to go pursue at those notable institutions that are known for those things. So just a little tidbit of advice for everybody.
Thanks so much for your time. Really